Internet, hello you absolute lovelies. I am just walking out of the premiere of Thunderbolts. I am literally just leaving, and I am overwhelmed with glee and emotion and happiness, and it feels like that zhuzh, that feeling, that energy of Marvel is back, and it feels so good. I said it in my short little review that we're so back. It's such an exhausting expression, but this is truly the movie of we're so back. If you're new to my page, I cover comic books, I cover movies, I cover TV. I read 50 to 70 comics a week, and I review from that lens. So if you're into movies, into TV, into comic books, please hit that subscription bell. Rapidly approaching 50,000 subscribers. When we do, I'm gonna do a 50 comic giveaway. Also, please, down below, this is gonna be a non-spoiler review, not a single spoiler, I promise you. Let's have a conversation about this movie. I'm gonna do a spoiler review this weekend, but until we get there, please, let's have a conversation about Thunderbolts. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. All right, first of all, non-spoiler review, not a single spoiler will be shared. Try to see this movie as soon as you can. There are 2 post-credit scenes, and there are a ton of impactful moments that are those big MCU pop moments. There are so many of those Infinity War, Endgame, like raw moments, and it has very special throwbacks and callbacks that if you hear about them, they're probably not going to feel as special. So please see it as quickly and bigly as you can. I also just want to briefly, in my experience, I love when emotion is the prevalent through line for a comic book. Action is a highlight on top of that, but you need to connect to these characters, their drawings, they're written by, like there's got to be an emotional human connection to them. This movie, more than I think any MCU film, establishes such an incredible emotional connection. To me, what made Winter Soldier so interesting is how much you connected to everyone in it, and so the action is heightened. To me, No Way Home is weighted so strongly on your connection to what the Uncle Ben parallel becomes with the other Spider-Man and your connection to the villains. Here, they do such a good job making the underdogs so relatable and what they're going through so impactful to your day-to-day life that the action is twice as intense. And there are so many really special sequences here. There are sequences that feel nightmarish. There are sequences that feel really intense. There are sequences that feel like traditional Marvel action. There are sequences that are very self-aware and that everyone on the team is, various super soldiers. They call these things out. It's very self-aware, but not in a way that is exhausting, not in a way that is too cheeky. It's in a way that is the right amount of cheeky. The humor in this is so exceptional. The writing in this is one of the best, but I'm saying this in my full chest, one of the best written movies in the MCU. Everyone's arc, everyone's dynamic is so very special. And then on top of that, it's got some of the best action I've seen since Winter Soldier. It is hand-to-hand, it is dynamic, it is interesting, it is using the power sets of these characters much the same way I love an X-Men team-up, because you get to see how these different characters have utilized their powers. This does a lot of really cool team dynamic work, and it's so very special. I love the redemption for, Black Widow in so many ways. I love the Falcon Winter Soldier US agent use. I love that this is the characters I don't think anyone was expecting in such a captivating, unique way. And Sentry, I'm gonna totally own something. I am not, and was not, the biggest Sentry fan growing up. I was, in fact, a big fan of Jenkins, the guy who created him, who I got to speak with tonight at the premiere, and I liked his other work, and I never found my way into Sentry. And I love that so many people love him, and so many people have said, like, oh, I can't wait to see Sentry. For me, it was never a character that I was too called to, other than the through line. I think the concept of Sentry, of balance, of checks and balances between good and evil, of mental health and of morality, all of that's great, but it never felt like after the first couple arcs it translated into the world of comics all that well. I love the first couple arcs, but then once you got deeper into it, it didn't work for me forever. This is one of the examples of the MCU elevating a character. What Lewis Pullman is able to do as Sentry, what he's able to do with this character, what the writers are able to do with this character, what Bob, what Sentry, what Void, what all of these things, and the imagery, good God, the imagery is so striking and so interesting and so dynamic, and the sound design paired with the imagery, and the way he gets brought into the story, and also the way he gets utilized is so dynamic. The spoiler review, by the way, this weekend, I'm gonna have so much fun with. I'm so excited to talk about this movie a ton, and I really love that it still felt like Sentry, but elevated in the way the MCU does best, when they can translate and adapt a character and make them more cinematic and make it more impactful than sometimes, the 5th or 6th run of the character does. So I was really impressed with Sentry, top to bottom. I also want to give some love to the comedy of David Harbour, the badassery of Sebastian Stan, the elegance and gravitas of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. All of the different key players are so important, but also kind of the best we've seen them, like the greatest hits of these characters. Like Winter Soldier, to me, you know, the film and the character is always going to be very impactful and important, but this feels like the place I've been wanting to see this character get to in so many wonderful ways. Likewise with Red Guardian. Like, I'm a Black Widow defender. What David Harbour's able to bring here is so very special. I could break down each and every one, but I want to do that in the spoiler review. Know that if you love beef, that this is going to have so much of that heart. Know that if you love Marvel action, this is going to have so much of that. Know that if you love Sentry, this, I think, elevates the character beyond what we got on the page. Know that if you have been waiting for a movie to have those big, impactful, rah, this is the MCU moments, this is the most a thing has felt like an Avengers level event in a long time. This is the most that a premiere has felt like when I worked 7 years ago, the Infinity War red carpet. This is the most a thing has felt like just the scope of when everything feels like it's Marvel's world and we're just living in it. I cannot sing higher praises for this experience. I love that it's so emotionally aware. I love how emotional it is. I love that there are scenes of dialogue that literally could be like two actors sitting in a room, and it could be a small you know, indie film in New York, some mumblecore stuff, but in this case it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it's the scope and elevation of that scene, but in a greater universe. Greater as in scope, not necessarily better. And I love that that's what comics are to me. Comics are human stories with superhuman abilities. This is a human story with superhuman characters. This is everything I love about comic books in a movie that knows what we as fans want, and every writer I talk to, the director I talk to, every actor I talk to, they made this for the people that know, love, and breathe this stuff, and it shows in every single frame. It is such a special experience at the movies. This probably makes my top 15. There's 50 some Marvel properties counting the TV shows. I think it actually makes my top 10. I just haven't looked at my top 10 yet, so I don't want to lie to you guys, but I think it makes my top 10. I need to rank it. I need to figure out where it's going to go. I'm going to do that in my spoiler review. Know that I couldn't sing the praises this higher. It's a solid A. I'm going to be seeing it again on Thursday. I am advocating for you to see it as soon as possible. Try not to read anything. Someone's going to spoil as much as they can. It's really something special. The chemistry, the family, the love, the passion, the comic bookness, and the characters, the heart. It's all right there, and it's so very special. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of going into Thunderbolts. Are you as excited as I was? And hopefully, are you going to be as redeemed and yes as I was? This is something really, really special. Please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Thunderbolts. Please leave a like on this video so the algorithm likes it. And please subscribe to this page if you want to see my spoiler review, if you want to see my coverage of what comics to read. I'm going to try to do that this weekend. I'm going to be doing lots and lots of Thunderbolt coverage. And then we got Fantastic Four later this year. We've got Superman in the same month. We've got so much goodness. So please subscribe to this page, not to mention every other movie and TV show I'm going to do between now and then. Lots to come. Much love. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.